What is up, Finn fans? Today on the Collective, we're talking about the confidence that we have in Mike McDaniel and this team. Also, we are going to look at the training camp dates that are available. Let's jump into it. I don't know why that one is still up there.
I went from 30 to 0 in a heartbeat like that.
I don't know why that one's still up there, but good thing I got quick fingers. Real quick, we do have to shout out today's sponsor, and that is BetUS. Go check them out. Use the promo code YouTube150. Get 150% on your first deposit, 125 on your next two, up to $2,000. Also, you can check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you see people in the chat and they got nice little things next to their name, the Dolphin Collective logo, or they're using our beautiful faces, that's because they're members. And you can join the membership by hitting the join next to the subscribe button. You get a ton of cool perks, custom emojis, monthly membership messages, name in the outro credits, access to members only live chats. Real quick, this is what BetUS sent us. Is a beautiful graphic. I will say it is really nice. Miami's win total over under 8.5 in 2025. We finished 8-9 last year. Betting edge, Dolphins hit over in 2 of 3 seasons under McDaniel. And then main risk factors to his health. Dolphins went 6-4 with him, 2-4 without him. Wrong.
You like this graphic, dog?
I do. I think it looks cool.
It's weird to me.
That's because you're staring at his booty.
Wow. See, I see dirt on his helmet and on his backside as if he slid or something. I'm not used to
looking at his booty.
Is there something symbolic about that, though, Omar?
Leave it to Omar to think about that.
Listen. If we're going to go 8.5, wow. I'm going to put my money on the over. Reasons why? Because Tua has never had a losing season in the NFL. And now
again, quarterback one-loss record is not a quarterback stat.
Me and you, we're gonna fight for the lifetime. We're gonna attend each other's funeral, and the opening statement is gonna be
Jay Fiedler didn't have a losing record as a
well. It depends what you ask.
Until he did.
Depends who and what you ask. You know, winning
Tebow
teams and it's a record. Cold weather and it's a record. It all depends on who you ask about Tua. But something did come out today, and that is this. That is the training camp schedule. Kickoff on the 26th. That's Saturday. Is that the first day of training camp? Obviously not. They're going to report way before that. But that's just the first day for
camp.
Public. Okay. When does training camp start for them? Do you know?
Are we allowed to tell?
Probably not.
It's a few days before that.
I was going to say it's like probably like the 21st or something like that. They have to report.
24.
Veterans report on the 22nd. Practice is the first practice is the Wednesday, the 23rd.
Gotcha.
And then we will ramp up. You go basically you go 1, 2, 3, 4 days and then a break. I always advise people, and this is one of my favorite things to do because I'm an expert at watching practices. You never want to go to practice the day after a day off. Reason why? Because you might get 3 special teams periods, and they will put you to sleep. And then you always want to go the last day before a break, which is for the first week. It's going to be a Saturday. Most weeks the next week it's going to be the next week it's going to be the 30th. Then they're going to have a break, and then the next week they're going to begin their exhibition season. Oh, actually, August the 2nd, which is a members only practice. No, actually, that's not going to be the hot practice. The hot practice is going to be
Sunday after the
3rd.
Yeah, the Sunday. No, is it going to be? Yeah, the 3rd. The hot practice is going to be the Sunday, the 3rd. That's available to fans, I believe.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's the hot practice. If you want to get tickets, go get tickets to the 3rd. That's the week before the exhibition game. It's going to be action. pads and everything.
And tickets are free, but you have to get them online, I believe, but
First
through the
come,
Dolphins
first
website.
serve.
And I'm not an expert like Omar, although I aspire to become one, and I'm going to keep working at it until I get there.
You've only watched 2,000 more practices than I have.
I'm trying to be humble here. Okay. But no, he's absolutely right. And then if you notice on the schedule here, 8/21 Jacksonville joint practice. That's 2 days before the preseason finale against Jaguars at Hard Rock Stadium.
And that's a joint practice, which is going to feature a lot of veterans because more than likely they're not going to play in the final exhibition game. So
correct again, Omar.
Veterans are going to practice that week, and then they're going to sit out the exhibition game, and all the long shots are going to be playing in the game.
And that big chunk between the 6th and the 19th, they're going to be in Detroit and Chicago.
Woo!
Big old chunk of no one seen. Now, how many were open last year? Was it like, I know it was like 8 or 9.
It was like 13 open.
It was 13? Because I think there's 11 now. But if you want, I'll be there the 20th and the 21st. So
they go on the road twice.
And you can sit with us, Reason. I'm sorry.
Wow.
How dare you?
Why?
I'm sorry, Doug. You can sit with us, Doug. I was thinking up the shade I was going. You can sit with us too, Reason. You can sit with no, actually you can't. My peers will probably no, they won't lie.
But yeah,
talking about this.
The training, those are your training camp dates. Title of the video obviously is we're talking the confidence that we have and head coach Mike McDaniel, and can he get the job done? Let's do percentage, right? Let's do like a percentage of the confidence we have in McDaniel. I would probably, as of right now, without seeing training camp, without seeing preseason, I'm probably at like a 60% that he'll get the job done.
Okay. That's not bad.
Well, can we define what the job done means first?
Playoff.
Winning a playoff game, right?
Let's start with getting there. Let's start with just getting there.
Still
first.
There? We still.
Well, this is we're building up. We're building up. Right now, we didn't make it.
You got to host a playoff game to win one, man.
We got to.
Really, you can't go on the road and get one.
Baby, it depends on the opponent, but baby steps.
Yeah, like if we have to face the Texans. That's not a bad possibility. I saw somebody went on I forgot what site it was, and they simulated the season, and we ended up getting the 6th seed, and we were heading to Houston.
Okay.
Which I was like, I wouldn't be upset with that. A dome team, that wouldn't be bad. But Omar, what would you say your percentage that you think in your confidence in Mike McDaniel to get the job done?
I'm about 50-50. I don't have concerns about Mike McDaniel as a coach. I don't have concerns about his staff. I have concerns about his hold on the locker room. I have concerns about what kind of season this organization is having. You trade away, yes, we understand you're going to trade away Jalen Ramsey because he's kind of in a beef with Mike McDaniel and he can't really be here. We get that. Wish it could be resolved, but it probably can't. But then if you go and you trade, and I wrote a column about this in the Miami Herald, that's going to appear tomorrow's paper. If you go along and you trade away Jonnu Smith as well as Jalen Ramsey, we're talking about 2019 all over again. The year that you traded Ryan Tannehill and Kenny Stills and Laramie Tunsil and Robert Quinn and Kenyon Drake, and the year that you traded away all your talent. You might as well, if you're going to get rid of Jonnu Smith, you might as well just tank the season. We're tanking. You disagree, Poupard?
Oh, completely.
They had better talent. They still would have more talent than that team.
Oh, by far. If you trade away Tyreek, now we're talking.
Now we're talking
closer to
issue.
2019. And I mean, 2019 was like everybody and anybody who was a player with any sort of credentials in the NFL. Bye-bye. And this is not to end. I think you were overestimating Jonnu Smith's value to the team. I'll be honest with you. He's a very good pass catching tight end. It's not like he's irreplaceable. And if we're going to be honest about it, then where would you guys rank him in terms of value to the offense? To me, I have Tua, Tyreek, Waddle, Achane, maybe maybe even Jalen Wright. If I'm looking ahead to 2020,
Jalen Wright.
If I'm looking ahead to 2025, maybe even Westbrook Akine because of the red zone, and that's not even talking about the. Oh, you shaking your head at me, Doug? You shaking your head at me, Doug?
I'm glad you back, Alan.
Defend
It was
yourself
too
with
much
the shaking the
foolery
head.
last week.
It's the yak that Jonnu brings. I think I would put him. See, but I would also put Brewer. If you're talking about weapons, then yeah. But if you're talking about offense in a whole, I put Brewer's importance over Jonnu. But if you're just talking about weapons, Tua, Waddle, Tyreek, Achane, Jonnu. That would be my.
I think that Canadian water's getting Alan. The beard looks a little grayer. It's like this is crazy to me. How does Jonnu Smith, a guy who in 12, 13 games set franchise records in receiving yards, yardage, touchdowns, led the team with 8 touchdowns and receiving touchdowns, led the team in receptions in 88.
Volume.
You said franchise record. That ain't saying much, Omar, with the Dolphins at that position. But if you
volume because they kept targeting him. Sorry,
exactly. If you took away Jonnu, all you got to do is go back to force feeding Tyreek, and you wouldn't miss him. That's the problem with the offense. That's when Jonnu went off. It was just a reflection of we're going to make Jonnu the first or second read a lot more now. When Tyreek said, even though he was joking, when he said I wanted to punch McDaniel because he wouldn't get me the ball, he meant he wouldn't get him the ball when he should have at a moment. But the whole punching thing was just him being Tyreek. But at the end of the day, I think McDaniel outsmarted himself. It was a good thing in theory, but it didn't help the team. Let's make Jonnu a primary on occasions instead of Tyreek when they're doubling Tyreek. Sometimes they didn't double Tyreek, and you should have been force feeding him the ball.
Yes, but the safeties were so far back. There's a lot of things factoring into it. The run game was putrid.
Mm-hmm.
Let's factor there. Here's the thing. We spent so many years trying to get a number 3 weapon, trying to get a productive tight end. We finally got one, and now we're turning our nose up at him?
Because you use them like a number 1/2. That's the problem. You didn't use him as that reliable number 3. You actually put him somewhat in a role with the game plan of a 1 or 2.
I think that was a byproduct of what defenses were giving you. They were saying, okay, beat us with everybody else. But
then that means you placated right into the defense's hands. So what you going to do now, Mike? How you going to figure that out now?
Then what's the drop off if those targets that went to Jonnu last year go to, let's say, Westbrook Akine, or they go to Tanner Conner, where you're not going to get as much yak. And by the way, I just looked it up as we were talking. Jonnu was 7th in the NFL in yak average per catch among tight ends, which is obviously good. It's top 10, but again, it's not like you revolutionized or made this Dolphin offense. It was a byproduct of Tyreek. I would much rather have Tyreek flirting with 2,000 than Jonnu Smith setting franchise record for receptions and receiving yards, personally.
Which none of them are proven to work. So what is McDaniel going to do? This is on him. He got to figure out the game plan where there's balance. And obviously, I think Omar, Doug, y'all been saying this. You beat it upside our heads a lot, and you have a point. The run game is where it starts to open up certain things.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just like square one. That's to get back to normal, to say, okay, we're a threat again. But it's still game time situations and different things that McDaniel has to figure out. He got to figure it out, man. This is on him.
100%. And you guys even asked him in the presser that your offense has been figured out. What are you going to do about it? And he gave his usual Mike McDaniel long convoluted answer with like, oh, if the wind is blowing from the east to the west and a feather falls from, just say what you gotta say, man. You're caught. You got caught.
We got to run the ball to make them respect us.
He ain't gonna stick with
but
it.
it's how he said, Omar, when you have an opportunity and life passes by, some things, when apple trees grow,
I will make the argument, and I'm there every day. Poupard, I'm curious what your take is. He's becoming more concise. I used to record his answers, and they were usually 2 minutes and 23 seconds. They are down now to 90-second answers. And I'm like, wow, you're getting really concise. You're getting, more concise for what you do.
Because he doesn't like us as much as he used to. No, I think
probably as well.
We don't say he's no longer McGenius, huh?
No, yeah.
no,
Man, I ain't heard that in a minute.
He's cut down on a number of jokes that he's made.
Point.
If you remember, am I wrong?
He was telling jokes the last day you weren't there.
Okay, but I was there for all the other media. Thanks for outing me there, Omar. No, I wasn't there the last day. I was traveling all day. Thank you so much for doing that. I didn't miss
absent. I'm marking it down.
Walk through. Anyway,
putting an A next to his name.
That hurt me right here. But he's been not as consistently verbose as he used to be. Still, every once in a while, we'll go on a tangent and take a long time to answer a question. But for the most part, yeah, on average, it's down a little bit. And is it because, again, he doesn't want to talk as much? A or B? Is it because his situation is different than it was last year, where he's coming off having been given an extension, where now
he knows he rambles. He knows he needs to be more concise. I think
I was just about to ask you guys that, because 2024 he came off of having one of the best offenses in football. Obviously there was the injury aspect, so he could lay his hat on that, saying it's not necessary at all.
Omar doesn't like the discussion anymore. He just
and now it seems like he's feeling that fire under his butt a little bit, that you hit 1 and 5, you might not be the coach, and all of a sudden you're out and about.
I disagree with that. I think he's got guaranteed money in his contract, so no matter what he's going to get, he's going to get his money.
Yeah,
he's always said from the very beginning, these opportunities to be one of 32 NFL head coaches, they're hard to come by. Mm-hmm. Think about it. When the Miami Dolphins hired him, there were 8 openings for head coaching positions. He only interviewed for 1, uno. Mm-hmm. And so this was his opportunity. And will he ever get another chance? You never know. And I think a lot of it is going to be based on how this season how he holds this season together, how he holds this team together. I think that's part of the reason why you're seeing all this talk about chemistry and accountability, and we've got more we're all in this together. They have to create that approach, because I've been part of these teams where they come into the season and they really don't care what happens to their coaching staff. They really don't believe in their head coach. That I don't think that's the case, or that's the situation. And if there was people that didn't believe in that head coach, they're gone.
But here's the point, though, Omar. As you said, Omar, he realizes this is one. There are 32 of these jobs. He interviewed only for the Dolphins opening. That's what he got. And he has been very consistent in saying, I understand what a privilege it is for me to be able to have that job. And now that his hold on the position isn't as secure as it was after he got a contract extension last summer.
Yeah.
And that would certainly explain why maybe he's not quite as verbose, maybe not quite as loose as before, or maybe because the explanation of he's learned to be less verbose after he's just mature. I mean, he's been that way for a while. That's who he is.
He's always said, he's always said he knows he rambles and he needs to, clean it up a little bit. Yeah.
Do you guys think that he deserved that contract extension?
Not with 2 years left.
No.
Everybody got an extension at the time. I mean, this was like it was like hey man, everybody.
It was that good feeling of 2023 is what it was. Oh, we were the best at this, and let's keep it going. Let's keep it going.
That was a 4-minute answer, and I asked that question, and he was like, "Good question," because I never realized it until I've always heard it, but I never really saw it. You can bring back the majority of the exact same team that you had in 2023. But if certain elements are not there, it doesn't have the same chemistry, doesn't have the same cohesion, doesn't have the same feel. Like I could tell you, just being in that locker room, that 2023 team did not have anything close to the feel that the 2024 team had. They were splintered. They were, sometimes you wondered if units talk to other units. You sometimes what's that face for, Poupard?
I like to make faces.
You disagree?
I also want to point out something because I know TD, you had a reaction when I said, you know who else got an extension last summer? I wasn't talking about Tua, TD. I was talking about Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah, that's what I thought you meant.
But he strong armed that one.
Yeah,
but the Dolphins, I'm sorry. I mean, Dolphins have to be the adults in the room and say, okay, you want one? Sorry.
You want to be the adult in the room with Jalen Ramsey?
Yes.
That's not going to go well for
I wanted Vic Fangio to tell him, sorry, bub, you play on your contract. Go ahead.
I said this the other day. Isn't it funny how Vic Fangio was right in just about every incident, in every situation? See, yeah, I know the old man was going to like that. It's it's sad. It's sad, but that's the reality of it. It's
all I remember is Javon Holland acting like he didn't like Fangio.
And he wasn't
Jalen Ramsey saying, I'll never forgive that man. And both of them are out of here. Both of them are out of here. And both of them seem like it's hints out here that they've been part of the problems in the locker room. So that's all I'm saying.
Well, we can all agree that it really did not matter how 2023 ended. Fangio was gone after 2023. Right. He wanted Philly from the jump. He came here, got a nice fat paycheck. I'm out.
Yep.
Regardless of what happened.
It wasn't the right kind of fit. They just did not get along. They were oil and vinegar.
And Fangio wanted to go to Philly. You keep downplaying that, Omar. And
no, you're right.
Wanted to go to Philly.
Okay. I have a question for everybody though about Mike McDaniel and his game plan. It's one element to the team that helped us become very successful in 2023. This element is starting to be utilized less and less as we move forward. And I want to get your take on it. The motion, the pre-snap motion. We've heard that, hey, it leaves also with some of the downfalls to it, it leaves no time to really, check at the line of scrimmage just in case you got to change something or anything, because you need that to kick off and go. If something's coming, the motion's already in play, you got to run the play. That's one downfall. But another thing that was brought to my attention, and I want to get your take on it, Tyreek Hill running those motions. Tyreek is the one guy who's been taking himself out of the game a lot and getting a breather. Could those motions have been part of the reason why? Because that's a lot more running he's doing. And what I don't like the most is third and must. This man sometimes isn't on the field. And I'm like, where's Tyreek? And he over there breathing, trying to catch. So is that why we've decreased the amount of motion being used, which was technically one of the things that helped us become successful in the system?
I noticed he took himself out a little bit more last year than he did in 2023. Probably because of his wrists, but I noticed that he took himself out a lot. Like there was a lot more times last year that I was like, where is he? Versus in 2023, he was on the field a lot more.
But I take it as 2023. Remember what he said going into 2024 in camp? Man, I'm feeling it now. I think 2023 might have worn him out. He literally said in camp 2024, man, I feel it. I'm getting older because I feel camp now. I'm feeling it, and I'm not even doing as much.
He wasn't doing as much.
Yeah, he said that. He said he feels it.
I want Poupard to chime in on that, and then I will address it. Go ahead, Poupard.
Oh, well, first of all, I'm going to start off by saying it's funny that like at one point in the off season, there was this big hullabaloo about how the NFL is going to crack down on the quote unquote cheat motion.
Never
Tyreek a couple of times in 2023 would maybe start going forward before the snap, and then it kind of disappeared. It was always like, no, not really. And then yes, the Dolphins stopped using it as much. Do you recall? I think we recall us asking McDaniel why he wasn't using it as much, and I can't remember exactly what his answer was. But I don't know if it deals with again, the what the quarterback can do at the line of scrimmage if you're set with the player in motion, and I can't for the life of me remember what McDaniel had to say about it. But it was weird, and it was so effective in getting Tyreek a free release at the line of scrimmage.
Do you think the NFL gave us a call?
No.
Yeah, we sat with the officials. No.
Correct. Sorry, Amar, but let me expound on what you just said here, just so people know. Is yes, we NFL officials meet with reporters every year, training camp, to talk about emphasis on rules, new rules, and all that. And they told us they weren't even told about the quote unquote cheat motion, so that wasn't even an issue.
Now, also keep in mind, folks, that you were led by a third string quarterback who basically was raw dogging the offense, to quote Tyreek Hill. So there was a point in the season where Mike McDaniel acknowledged and he had to simplify it, and simplifying it meant taking out the motions. It made them easier to play, but this is what they had to do in order to survive, in order to execute their offense. Now, keep in mind also, a lot of those motions have to do with, getting tells on the run game or getting tells in the passing game. That's what the motions are designed for. Well, if you're not running the ball effectively, what are you doing it for? So the majority of their offense, and I will acknowledge this, and it's hard to say, but the majority of their offense was check down passes, Devon Achane and Jonnu Smith. It just was.
That's why he set a franchise record for receptions and receiving yards.
Thank you.
Yeah,
imagine what he could do when it's not just a check down. When it's
probably his numbers are going to go down. I hate to break it to you.
To piggyback off of what TD and Omar both said, to back up what TD said, the percentages went down. Tua's motion percentages in 2022 was 67.3. Last 2023 it was 77%, and then this year, you're right, it went down to 71.4%. So there's something there. And then to piggyback off of what Omar said, I remember the Detroit game. I think it was 2022, the Detroit game. We needed a first down, and we ran the same exact play 3 times, and it was motion. Tyreek motioned. And the first time, I think it was the linebacker or the safety followed Tyreek, we ran the ball up the middle. Second time, followed Tyreek, we ran the ball up the middle. Third time, they didn't follow him. Tua threw Tyreek for the first down. We ended up winning the game. So it's like, we have to be able to run the ball, because if we're not running the ball and we're not doing it effectively, these motions aren't going to do anything, because then they're just going to keep following Tyreek, because they're not going to worry about shutting the run down up in the middle. So it's important, but also like TD said, I think Tua came out and said it. He was like, I think he said it after the Chiefs playoff game. He said, coming to the line, I had no time. He has no time, because you get the play. And that's why we had so many delay games last year with the rookies, and with all, like TD said, Omar said, don't know the playbook, because the play's coming in, it's long and convoluted. Then you have to get the play out. Then you have to have the motions where, for a fact, when it's Tua, I bet you McDaniel starts like the first 3 word verbiage of that play, and he's like, all right, I got you. Gives it to him. They go out, and then but even Tua said, I get up there, and I have to account for, I need an extra 5 to 7 seconds for the motion to happen. But again, like T said at the beginning of this episode, McDaniel's got to fix it. And this is where our confidence in McDaniel comes in, because you got caught. It's at the point now where, defenses are showing we know how to stop it. Now he has to add those wrinkles.
No. Defenses aren't showing that they know how to stop it. Defenses are showing that they know how to stop a one-dimensional Dolphins offense. Imagine if you had a second dimension to it. Yes.
Then what were the defenses doing when our offense was at its peak and we played playoff teams?
What point are you talking about at the peak? Okay, you're talking about back in 2023.
That's right. Even then, when we were at our peak.
In those moments, your entire team buckled to the pressure.
Alan, we can't hear you.
No, I thought I was waiting. I was waiting for Omar talking about everybody on offense was injured. I was waiting. Sorry, that was
now it's the whole team buckled. Man,
stop bringing up. We can't be good teams. We can't be contenders. We can't be. Listen,
we can't. I mean, so you just, all you're saying right now to everybody is, we can, but don't bring it up.
Were they a Jordan Poyer spearing call away from beating the Buffalo Bills? I'm just asking a question.
No, they were that call away from getting the ball back, when you can't assume that they would have scored. But yes, they would have gotten the ball back.
They would have.
Yeah. We're talking about a Raheem Mostert fumble away from taking the lead in that game. There's so many circumstances. I get this from Cameron Wake. There are a lot of factors that play into whether or not you win or lose a game. And there are generally about 3 plays. those 3 plays generally don't come down to Tua not maximizing opportunity. It comes down to other people, including Tua, sometimes making mistakes that cost you the game, like when Tua threw an interception to Philadelphia because Raheem Mostert runs the wrong route.
See, this is where I have to respond. So first off, and sorry to call you out, Omar, but this shows your insecurities about Tua Tagovailoa. I never mentioned Tua. I never brought Tua up. When you say, the whole team.
Yeah, I know how you operate.
The whole point of
all
all
this operate. Oh, he can't be big.
It's a preemptive strike.
You got a big enough quarterback.
I said to myself, I'm leaving Tua alone all episode, and I got to keep on bringing me into Tua. I'm just talking about the team. We can't be good teams. I'm not even talking about Tua. The Miami Dolphins, McDaniel, Mostert, all of them. We can't be good teams.
All right.
So with that being said, you don't have to defend Tua. It's okay. All right. But Tua part of the problem too. Since you want to bring it up.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
A part of the problem in those games, 100%. Not the problem.
They are a team that buckles to the pressure.
Yeah, 100%.
Is it possible, though? Here's the thing. What I've always said about the Dolphins is the way they're structured, particularly offensively, their margin for error is like this.
Yes.
And you get to the end of the season or you play really, really good teams, they reduce that margin for error, and the Dolphins eventually kind of not –
you can't fumble the ball. You can't have a roughing the pass.
Really,
really 100%.
When your offense is all based on deception and timing and all that, you can disrupt timing.
Yep.
And the whole Tua throws to a spot. Well, guess what? I'm going to bump Tyreek at the line. He's not getting to that spot when he's supposed to.
You know what the better teams have? Better coaches.
Or more physical teams. If you look at the common thread between everybody that the Dolphins struggles with, the Baltimores, the Tennessees, even Buffalo. The Pittsburgh Steelers, who else? Philadelphia Eagles, Buffalo. They're all physical teams. You are not built to handle physical teams. Now, this makeover might help you.
I don't get this.
I don't think it's enough. I don't think it's enough.
You know what? If your 2 interior offensive guards can actually move people, just because we know our center can get to the second level and take down people. But let's say they were one-on-one and they could actually move people without help. And these tackles are good. You might have a chance from a running game because Devon Achane is a pretty talented back. I think the backups are pretty talented in terms of the run game. Mike McDaniel comes from a run game background. This is the thing that I don't think people get. They see this, they romanticize this evolution that he's helped Tua undergo, but they forget this man made his name in the NFL as a run game specialist. So he has that foundation. The problem I have is the defensive side of the ball, which is they just get pushed around. And what I like, and that's part of the strength of the team, is the pass rushers. I don't know what we're going to get from the defensive linemen, but I love the fact that they put so much emphasis on the defensive linemen. I would love to see them continue to emphasize that even more. I'm not satisfied with what's been done on all fronts. I think that they need to add about 4 new players to the team that can help you get over that hump from a physicality standpoint. I don't think the job is done, but to me, it's the physicality that you need in order to beat those playoff caliber opponents.
I feel like you're throwing a little more shade on the defense than they deserve. Like, let me ask you, who's more to blame for the team's lack of success, the offense or the defense?
Depends on the game, if you ask me.
Totally depends on the game.
Yeah.
Overalls, don't run from it. Overall,
no, because it's like
totally depends on the game.
Yeah, if you ask me, it really does depend on the game. Like there's some games where the offense is not doing any, like Tennessee Titans, Seattle Seahawks, Indianapolis Colts. Like the Seahawks game, we held them scoreless for 2.5 quarters. The offense wasn't doing anything. Like all of these games, like the defense was doing their thing and the offense was doing nothing. But then you have the flip side where the offense scores 30-something points and we can't make the stop when we need to. It's on the defense. So it's like,
here's what gets me. It'll be a game where the defense, like you said, Doug, for 2.5 quarters, lights out. And the offense can't go push the lead.
Nothing.
And then all of a sudden, The other team in the fourth quarter, because we'll still be up. And then all of a sudden in the fourth quarter with 6 minutes left, the defense blows it, and it's just all their fault. All their fault when they needed you to go ahead and get that lead early on to push it out.
And what was on the offense? Sorry.
What was on the offense?
Indy was on the offense?
The Indy game.
I would give you that. The fumbles. Yeah, the fumbles.
They had 2 fumbles. They got stuffed on a 4th and 1.
Yeah.
You also had Jason Sanders, who had a wonderful season, missed a field goal attempt, and then you had your backup quarterback throwing a ball 7 yards out of bounds on 4th down.
Even though with Arizona we had the bad snaps, I put Arizona on the defense because how many times did we get points come off the field? They give up points, we get points come off the field. So that's more on the defense. Like you just had to make a stop, and we would have won that game. Buffalo, I put on the defense.
Holland in that Arizona game.
Buffalo was both really because Raheem Mostert doesn't commit that fumble. Man.
So and like it's what Alan said, man. When you're facing those teams, your margin of error gets just so much smaller because we're not that team yet. We're not Buffalo.
They just buckle to the pressure. They do. Yeah. They're a team that buckles to the pressure.
And we're talking
Omar, Jordan Poyer's hit, is that really buckling to the pressure or it's a bang bang? The helmet hit on the receiver, Keon Coleman. I mean, it's the heat of the play, and he's going for the ball, and he lowers his head. Yeah, to me, that's not buckling to the pressure. It's just it's like really a bad break. It's not necessarily being totally in control in the play, but
plus,
to me, it's not buckling to the pressure.
A 61-yard field goal
Houston, they have
in Buffalo.
Houston, didn't they have the chance to take the lead on the final drive before Tua's interception?
No, it's 20-12. They didn't.
Yeah, it was.
No, that sound good. What Omar said. It sound good.
Nah.
They had a chance until we threw a pick.
Yeah, threw a pick.
Why are you throwing
great pass caught by the receiver? All I'm saying.
See, I'll push back on that one because why are you throwing a 50-50 ball to a 5'11" wide receiver who has bad wrists?
He's the number 1 rated player in the NFL. Number 1.
I know, but like not in that moment. Like
he should have.
Who else was he going to throw to? Who else was he going to?
I got to look at the play. I got to look at the play.
Record-setting tight end, Jonnu Smith.
Let me see. I'm going to the film.
I'm glad you're back, Alan. They were with some mess last week, man.
Chat among yourself. I'm going to the film. Let's see if I can find out.
Listen. Tyreek caught the ball. He just had the ball snatched from him. That's all I'm saying.
Wait. You talk about that deep ball where Tyreek had to come to lean back and get it. No. Is that the one you're talking about though?
No, it was. I think we were on our own like 30. It was
a little bit behind him.
Yeah, he just leaned back to go get it instead of reaching.
Yeah, because I know every pass got to be perfectly thrown.
Hey, the ones y'all highlight. I'm just saying it's the NFL.
It wasn't that deep. So it was. You know what? Really,
it was deep. It was like 40 yards.
Yeah. It was to their 40. We started on our 23. It was to their 49 was the pass. So it was like 20 something.
28 yards on my
28 yards. But what pissed me off the most about that play was that it was so we forced them to punt. We're down by 8, and it was the first play. Yep. Like you couldn't have done it.
You gotta expect. What do you want them to do? Run the ball?
Jonnu Smith.
Jonnu, that's right.
They were playing inside the hash marks, and they were only given 2 outside throws. And
there was motion, fake screen to.
Yeah. That's how he had to play.
No, man, there was so many. That's on to it. I'm sorry. I'm looking at it right now.
Thank you, Doug. Thank you.
It was an underthrown
being
ball.
Abandoned here.
Thank you, Doug. Man,
and there was guys open.
Did Tyreek catch it?
Oh my gosh.
He didn't catch it. He got his hands on it.
He got his hands on it, and then the defender also had his hands on it and ripped it out.
I think that's the one where the angle for the defender just was able to roll his body around.
I want to show you guys, but I don't want the stream to get taken down by copyright claim.
Is it all 22?
Then don't do it. Everybody can find it if they want to.
He had the safety was at the right hash mark. He had room in front of him. He kind of underthrew it a little bit. If he throws it out in front of him, that might have been a touchdown.
And he's also going at one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL.
And then you also on the left side, but here's the thing, pressure was coming from the left. You couldn't look to his left, but it's first down. Just throw it.
Anyway. Okay,
or screen to H-man or to the record-setting tight end.
Listen, man, I don't see nothing he did wrong. He threw his 30-yard comeback route. It just ain't worked this time.
I'm not. No one call me a two-and-ear anymore. That game broke my heart, though. I was like, all right, we're in this. Two is on a hot streak.
You had no chance going into that game. You had no offensive line.
No chance. Are you kidding me?
Against the best pass rushers.
And the defense balled out and gave them a chance.
No. This is what I'm talking about right here.
The eye roll.
Omar is going to literally out of his mouth say we had no chance. But if you put that ball 2 more yards out front, it's a whole different scene. This is what I be talking about. Why don't we ever talk about what could have been done better on the play?
And by the way, you know what could have been done better? Sorry, T. You know what could have been done better in that game? Not throwing 3 picks.
Yeah.
Oh, he had 3 in that game?
Yeah, I remember he had 2 that he got baited real bad. Like, holy moly.
Well, one of them was an out that Stingley.
His press conference after that game was the most humble I've ever seen him.
He didn't have 3 in that game.
Yes, he did.
Stingley
had 2 and then he had the last
one.
Not 2.
Anyway,
did you take him
out? You said you weren't trolling anymore. You son of a. Let's get to these donations.
No.
You believed him when he said that? Are you serious?
we gotta catch a hockey game. So let's catch up with these donations. Glenn with the $5 says, if wins are a quarterback stat, then why do we know the win-loss record for every quarterback, but not any other position?
Can I take that one?
Do it, man.
Because that's media driven, but the quarterback cannot win a game by himself. Jay Fiedler, I'm going to keep going back to that. And Glenn, correct me if I believe you're a longtime Dolphin fan. Jay Fiedler in his first 3 years as Dolphins, 21-23, was 36-23, which is brilliant territory until it went south in 2004. So
if Alan was here right now, I'd hug him.
Well, Alan, there is one quarterback.
You would hug me?
This is you, Alan. I'm hugging.
Alan, I know you're a stat guy, but I get to debunk you. One time, there is one quarterback in NFL history that won games on his own.
Go ahead.
Tim Tebow.
Please tell me you're joking. There you go. Bye-bye. Yeah, bye-bye.
Tim Tebow, you forgot Tim Tebow on that 8-game win streak. They were down in the fourth quarter.
Tebow was horrible.
And at the end of every game, he had the game-winning drive on his own, running and throwing bubble screens. Tim Tebow. Don't act like he ain't doing it.
Now I got you. There you go.
His throwing motion made me sick. He would take 9 days. Anyway, Uncle Ron with the $5 says 8 wins. You're joking. 4 at most. Our cornerbacks will struggle against lingerie football team offense.
He's fun to watch, though. No, sorry.
Good thing you're outside.
I will say this about the cornerbacks. There was on the final day that we will actually watch a practice.
I was there, Omar. Go ahead.
Yes. Okay. Yes. On the final day,
let me check the attendance. Yes, you were there.
They were doing some blitzes. It was a pressure day for the defense, and they totally just razzled the offense. Now that could be more of the offense isn't ready for it, but it didn't make the cornerbacks look overmatched. And maybe Anthony Weaver has plans to do things that don't put all the pressure on these cornerbacks so that we can make it through this season.
I think that's the biggest reason we saw Jalen Ramsey struggle in situations last year, because we had such a hard time getting after the quarterback. So quarterbacks had days to just stand back there. Receivers would run full routes, full crossing routes.
I hate that people say Jalen Ramsey struggled. Jalen Ramsey probably had 2-3 bad games. 3 bad games and 17 ain't bad.
Hey, they were bad too, though.
But here's the essence of good coaching is you maximize your strength. What's the strength of the Dolphin defense? If everybody's healthy, it's the pass rush. And then you can complement that by blitzing. So to me, if he wants to do like a Brian Flores blitz crazy scheme, sign me up right now.
Blitz crazy. Hell, rotate the cornerback so that everybody's not gassed. I don't care. Obviously, this is what they're going with. This is it. Like, we might get one more added to the stack. I could tell you it's not impressive, but it looks like this is what they're rolling with. So,
and if you can get
Kendall Sheffield plays a big role.
If you get a fully healthy Chop Chubb, and Phillips, you could probably have all three of them on the field at the same time.
When have you ever had that?
Hey, man, I can dream.
Yeah.
Never, because Chubb was a rookie last year and Chubb didn't play, so never.
Shout out to Phil Montgomery for becoming a member. Great one. JD, the great one. See, this is a perk you get as being a member. You
Member
can
for 1 month. Nice.
do one of these. Great show, fellas. Any news on any free agents? That's for these guys. You guys have any news?
They go on vacation for probably about 3 weeks. So, and then they will return and they will look at this roster and they will make their calls. I'm sure Rasul Douglas has his offer out. You know, and you're gonna either take it or you're not gonna take it. They're gonna add offensive linemen and cornerbacks by the time we open up camp. They have to, because
expect moves like in mid-July to July 20th or something like that.
Always.
Birthday Salami with the fiver says, if McFlora is going to bring back the TNT wall during his new reign of terror.
That's actually
I just realized that the picture is a happy birthday and the balloons are
salamis.
Wow. See, I'm just not buying into this new. It's a new culture. We're about business now. You weren't before. Two people stopped you from being about business.
No, it's not just two people. They were. It's. I don't even think there's a new culture. There's more. What this new culture is players holding each other more accountable, and players confronting each other more. Whereas you couldn't really confront and Javon Holland and you know,
he's watching.
So it's basically two players.
He comes up behind him.
There were more. Jalen Ramsey wasn't the only person showing up late for stuff.
If you read the Miami Herald, shout out to Miami Herald. If you
free
read
free plug, I want my free plug too. Miami Dolphins on the side.
I got you. If you read their article, they talked to Alec Ingold, and he pretty much said that. He was like, you know, we got to take accountability. We have to, what'd he say? It has to be no nonsense, players to coaches, coaches to players. So
can I phrase it a different way? Is the hope is that they have everybody swimming in the rowing in the same direction this year, as opposed to last year.
Yeah.
As opposed to this whole culture change type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard culture change. I'm not a big believer in the whole culture change stuff, and
that whole Omar, that whole heat culture we keep hearing in Miami, or it works great when you got LeBron James and Dwayne Wade and all that.
Thank you, Alan. Thank you,
LeBron James and Dwayne Wade.
Where's the heat culture lately?
You will be the first to say part of what the Panthers are doing and their success is because of the Panthers culture and the way that they're doing things. No,
it sure doesn't. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't hurt that they got Matthew Tkachuk via trade, Sam Bennett, Sam Reinhart, Seth Jones.
I love Alec.
Brad Marchand. I mean,
give him a hug, man. Give him a hug.
My God, man. See, he understand, man. Man, these big names make your team sometimes. And y'all think it's just the overall scheme of the culture and all this and that.
I will say this, though. I will say what the Panthers did, and they realized, and this applies to the Dolphins, is their style was run and gun. They led the NHL with the best regular season record in 2022. They got bounced in the second round by Tampa Bay, and it was ugly. And they realized at that point that style's not winning in the playoffs. And then they got the opportunity to make the trade for Tkachuk, hired Paul Maurice, and then decided to get more physical and nasty, which is what you're seeing right now. And the results have been phenomenal.
Cook, Alan.
Gary Williams with the fiver said, when with a healthy Tua and a legit third receiver, how can the offense be stopped and the front seven will be nasty?
Well, I can tell you how the offense can be stopped.
Yeah, it can be stopped. But I will say this.
No run game and offensive line that is a turnstile.
Yeah. With no depth.
30-yard
but
comeback.
I will say this: if you go to Miami Dolphins on SI, shout out to Miami Dolphins on SI. Teron Armstead out here calling Tua Tagovailoa Drew Brees. Go check that article out. Anyway, let's go to the next.
Well done.
John Brown with the fiver says, do you guys think that rumors of the team looking to extend Jonnu is a legit possibility? Glad I get to watch you guys live from Hawaii. There you go.
Mahalo.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
Owen's been talking about it. He said that this is something that's probably going to happen around this time of the year.
I mean, we left it. I think it was an exit meeting where Jonnu was looking for a new deal. Jonnu was looking for a new deal.
Yep.
I mean, he was making 4.1. He's making just under 4.1 a season. Yeah, he wants more money. Jonnu is a guy who signed a 4-year, $50 million contract. You know, he's here because he wanted to be here, but that doesn't mean he wants to play for pennies. You know, the 32nd highest paid tight end in the NFL. To me, a fair compromise, and this is the thing that we don't know. We don't know what the Miami Dolphins have offered them. To me, you offer him the Mike Gesicki deal, 3 years, $25.5 million, 10 in the first year. You take it, you take it. You don't take it, enjoy playing on 4.1.
How much of that is guaranteed, though? This is always
good question. I think like 16 million.
Because you're giving me phony numbers like an agent. I want to see what the real deal is.
Man, Allen back, baby.
The first 2 years of the deal are literally legit. He's gonna walk away. How much is guaranteed?
Guarantee at signing was 3.9. Total guarantee was 3.9.
12. Mike Gesicki's guarantee is $12 million. With a practical guarantee of $12 million. So he's going to make $12 million because he's going to make 6.5 in bonus and then 5.4 in the first year, and then the second year he's going to make $3 million and $2 million roster bonus. So he's doing all right for himself.
That's good. You're talking about Gesicki.
Yeah. But I'm saying that's the deal that you should offer. And if Jonnu doesn't take it, tough titty said the kitty.
Yeah, correct. Because the thing is, yes, the Dolphins would absolutely, I think, would want to extend Jonnu, but not at any price. And right now, obviously, Drew's asking more than the Dolphins are willing to offer.
Chip Kincaid with a giant $50 donation. Are two balls dropping as a leader, or is it being forced on him? Now, you guys,
TD, would you like to take that one?
No, I want guys in the locker room to tell me because that's a big proprietor of things I've heard on Twitter and the streets and stuff is that Tua's not a leader.
Who said that?
Oh, a lot of people said that. And then when you show the clip, yeah, exactly. And when you show the clip of him talking to Ron Armstead during the Cowboys halftime, where he's like, "I need you to back me up." When you show him in the huddle, essentially telling Mike McDaniel, "Go away, don't talk to Tyreek," and he like took over the play. People poo-poo on that. So from guys who are in the locker room, is Tua a leader?
Tua is a leader. What I will say is he can't handle the day-to-day policing of the locker room that a Calais Campbell and Teron Armstead did. He's got too much on his plate. He leads his wide receivers. He leads his offensive players. He works collaboratively with his offensive line. He's not going to be policing defensive players. That has to come from somewhere else.
And all I will say on this is that Tua leads as much as he can lead while not being an alpha personality.
You think he's not an alpha?
Fair.
No, I don't think
fair.
Doug, you
no.
I'll leave it there.
No,
Ryan Tannehill was not an alpha.
Of the pearls.
Tua does not. Ryan Tannehill was not an alpha. Tua does.
You think Tua's much more of an alpha than Ryan Tannehill?
Tua has an alpha. Tua has alpha traits. Tua absolutely has alpha traits.
Sorry.
No, he don't. No, he don't. Listen, Tua talking about because alphas can tell an alpha. How about that?
Then how you know, TD?
I'm an alpha, and I can tell you Tua's alpha.
Stop that, man, so wrong. Let's stop. Listen, Tua Tagovailoa can be a leader, and I think he is a leader in the locker room with his teammates, and he leads. But you can tell people's response when it matters most. Like I'm gonna keep going to that.
Ron said they believe.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep going to that that Chiefs game when Tyreek caught that touchdown and went on the side and said, "Lean on me," and his hands in his pocket. Like, no, that ain't what the alpha does. The alpha is the one taking the pain, but not showing it. He's up in everybody's face in the most critical moment of the game. He's telling everybody, "Lean on me." I've seen that once or twice from Tua, and he was the one folded after it. So you have to, in the worst conditions, be the one that's unbreakable. And I'm going to tell you what hurts his status of that whole Flores situation. A lot of people, even though he was done wrong, a lot of people, I mean, you hear NFL players. Tom Brady even said it. That would have drove me. That would have made me, I'm going to prove you wrong. I don't care how you feel. You can think I'm the worst thing ever. I'm going to show you. Like it's just your or
he just doesn't want to work with him.
Well, that's part of the problem, though. You still can't let somebody take away what your goals are. You can't
Brady
just
ended his career in Tampa Bay instead of New England.
Well,
he didn't work with the old man.
Stop it, Omar. Are we really gonna do this? Are we really doing it?
Because he figured he'd win a Super Bowl in Tampa Bay, and he wasn't winning one in New England anymore.
Come
on.
All right, we're going.
There was no decline of Tom Brady and the Patriots until he left.
We're going off on a tangent.
And it's not a knock to say Tua's not an alpha. At the end of the
Tua
day,
is an alpha.
He's a player playing his role on the team. He's not the one to rally the troops. I mean, and you know what? I don't even want to talk no more because I don't want to talk bad about Tua, man. I don't want to talk bad about him, but he's not. We got to stop this mess. I remember before that playoff game,
there is a rallying around him trait, intangible that he has. There is, I said it. There is an it.
You can say it, and I can dispute it. Okay.
There's an it factor that he has that has not come out yet.
Whoa! You're saying he has an it factor, but it hasn't come out yet. I can dunk a basketball. I just haven't done it yet. Sorry.
All right. Joe Ronnie Mo with the $5 says Jonnu Achane becoming more primary targets under the circumstances was in fact an adjustment from McDaniel and should be looked at as a positive. I could see that. Birthday Salami with the $2 donation said Coco going off the top rope this episode.
All right, we're gonna have to retire this Coco stuff.
Another one from Joe Ronnie.
Where your bird at?
You know, I'm gonna do it up on Halloween.
You better do it up.
Big if the O-line gives a short yardage push as well as first and second down run respect. How about playoff teams gonna play us? How are playoff teams gonna play us? I guess he's saying if the O-line and the run game is doing their thing, how are playoff teams gonna play us?
Like you said, big if.
Yep. Ohio John with the $5 says, do you think Gordon can threaten Wright for that number 2 position in the backfield? And can his upright running style be coached out of him?
No. I do like Ollie Gordon. He's got a little speed. He's got some size. He's got good hands. If he can learn this playbook, I think he can take that job. I not only think he can take the number 2 job, I think he could be a lead back.
Whoa. No.
Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely.
I
like him.
You think who can take the lead back?
Ollie Gordon.
He's not going to have a long career because he runs too upright. But I think you maximize what you have while you have it.
I trust McDaniel.
I was watching some film the other day and I stumbled upon DeMarco Murray. And it's a very similar style to DeMarco Murray.
He's bigger than DeMarco Murray, though.
Is he?
Unless my memory fails me. But I'm not. I think Jalen Wright actually has very, very intriguing possibilities for season 2.
Glenn with the $5 says, but every stat is driven by the media, even passing touchdowns and yards. If it was not for the media putting stats in newspapers, we would have no stats.
Can I have that one, please?
Yeah.
Glenn, here's the thing, though. The problem with stats, especially in football, more so than any other sport, is every play is dependent upon 11 players on the field at the same time, and it's only the quarterback who gets the passing yards and not the offensive lineman who provided the protection, not the wide receiver who got open and caught the ball, and not even the coach who designed the play to help the receiver get open. So,
it's the positives and negatives because drops like he throws a 5-yard pass, but the rest of it is 90 yards for a touchdown. That's 95-yard passing.
Correct.
But if a tip ball gets intercepted, that's intercepted. Drops affect completion percentage. So yeah, it's like give and take. Hollowed Myth with the $3. Shout out to him. What are you saying over there?
No, our guy don't get tipped interceptions.
You being serious right now?
No, I'm serious. That's the weird thing about
He
Tua's
doesn't get a
interception.
ton, actually.
They
really
don't
doesn't.
get tipped. They just go right to the defender.
See, you fell right into it, Alan.
No. I wasn't even trolling. No, I'm serious.
Coming.
If you look at every Tua
Yeah.
Tagovailoa interception, they aren't the traditional tipped at the line or
He's
bounced
not
off
Yeah,
to somebody.
go back and watch the Buffalo game his rookie year. There was one interception that the receiver fell, intercepted. The other one, Devontae Parker, it's smacked up in the air.
At the end of the year, yeah.
You just made my point. You got to go back to the rookie year.
Anyway, we're getting out of here. I'm not doing another hour and a half getting yelled at.
Gotta
Did
go
we
watch
with this.
Panthers.
Get all our questions in.
Yes, we
Welcome
did.
back, Alan. Welcome back.
Well, yeah,
Check
welcome
out
back. How
Omar
was the game?
Kelly, Miami Herald, Alan Poupart, Miami Dolphins on SI, TD Fins Talk, youtube.com/TD Fins Talk. Doug, you do wrong, youtube.com/Doug, you do wrong. We will see you, I think, Thursday. I don't know. We're gonna
not this Thursday. No.
Are we, is it just Tuesdays now?
Yeah, I think. Or are we
We'll
moving
keep
to
you guys
Thursday?
updated. We're gonna scale it back because there's not a lot to talk about, and then we're
Once
gonna
a
rev
week.
it up right before training camp. So
Let's get it.
we'll keep you guys updated. But other than that, we'll see you later.
Peace.